Welcome to GC Cars. My name is Eric.
And I'm Jesse.
And this is Subaru Forester Sport.
Subaru Forester Sport.
Sport, as in
Sport.
I'm the midtrim and I'm not sporty at all, but it just sounds better if I'm called sport.
I don't know if you know this, but each one of these orange decals, that's 10 horsepower at least, minimum. But it adds horsepower.
We're going to drive it later and you're going to find out how much horsepower this baby really has. Jokes aside, you've seen a Forester, I've seen a Forester. It hasn't really changed at all in the last few years. I mean, it's okay. Like, I don't think it's the prettiest car on the road.
No, it's not.
But it does what it's supposed to do. We have the orange accents, like you mentioned.
You got your glossy black rims. Again, nothing to really write home about.
And because it's a Subaru, we have quite a bit of ground clearance, and we have a fairly low belt line, but tall roof. So
it's a big vehicle.
It does look, even though it's a compact SUV, from this angle, it does look fairly substantial.
It's substantial.
So, no, it's like, it's good. As the color, by the way, silver. If you go to their website and they get on the configurator, you know how everybody has like crystal white pearl, obsidian black metallic. It just doesn't say anything. It's just click on it and suddenly it's silver. So it's silver.
It kind of looks like a bluish silver. I can't really tell.
I don't mind it, and I think it works well with the accents. I like the sport badge in the back and the whole
you also
rear
have
bumper,
the accents up here,
which I find very interesting, like on the roof rails, right? Once again, a big window.
Gloss black on the back here.
Like
nothing really super new to talk about.
Yeah, it's a Subaru Forester. You've seen it.
Maybe the interior is different.
Maybe the interior is quite different.
Let's take a look.
Okay, inside the Subaru Forester.
And it's not an uncomfortable place to be.
No, it is. It's definitely color-wise very interesting. There's a lot of different like accents and
a lot of different materials, and I think there's going to be a mixed review on some of the materials. Some of them look great. Some of them, like we talked about, this side material here is a little bit. We've never really seen that.
Yeah, this cloth. Like it looks like it's. I appreciate it compared to hard plastic.
Right.
It does look a little like it's ripped out of like a 90s motel though.
I don't know how well it's going to age.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Then we have this kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it.
It's a hard plastic, but at least it looks different.
Yeah, and it has a bit of the texture. Like it's not this leather is nice done on the doors.
You got soft touch up here.
Contrast.
An interesting material here. It's not bad overall as a package.
It's definitely not bad.
Definitely not the height of luxury, but it's not what you expect either.
And we do have the sport accents everywhere, and we have our cross modes. I'm assuming it's cross and not X modes.
Yep. Long-term drive modes. You got your heated seats.
Yeah.
It's it's a decent package.
It does its job. You spend a week with this.
For me personally, I really like this. I know it's a small thing, but the steering wheel is really nice and comfortable. Nice soft touch.
Good grip.
Yeah, good grip.
Good grip.
Really good
like
grip.
you can push it in a little bit.
I really like it.
No, it's a nice. A lot of buttons on there.
We don't have a digital gauge cluster. There is a little small screen there.
Yes.
Which leads me to the infotainment, which for me, the screen. First of all, you got a CD player. Really?
Like the Challenger.
Like really?
But yeah, that's funny.
But it's a smaller screen that looks a little bit outdated, very slow. It doesn't react, and half the time, 50% of the time, it doesn't do anything when I press it.
Sorry. Okay, this is not very intuitive. Why?
It's not very good.
It does have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay though.
Wired, no wireless.
Do we have wireless charging pad? No, right?
No.
What's up with that top screen though?
Listen, I've been in a few cars. You've been in more cars than me. I don't think I've ever seen a screen that's basically dedicated to gas mileage. I mean, yeah, you have your AC here, you have the time and the temperature, but it's basically there to remind you that you're not driving efficiently enough.
Yeah, it's kind of just like up there. I noticed when I put the adaptive cruise control on, like it gives me like this little screen.
It doesn't really do anything. It just
tells you when it has a car in front, and that's pretty much it. And
then when you change your off-road modes, it does show there. But again, this is something that could have been achieved. It's right there. It's all right there too.
Yeah, we have a screen. Yeah, that's kind of it's a little redundant. It's like I don't mind it. It is kind of odd.
Every time you rev, you see it go to 20, 30, 40 liters per 100. You're like, oh my God, I'm driving.
I'm driving a Raptor R next week, and this guy is complaining about 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers after idling.
Which we'll talk about later is actually very good.
What's also really good is the center crabby.
Look how big this is. I put a large coffee in here. Not that you would ever put a full coffee in there. It's empty.
Oh no, we have to clean up the interior before we film.
But it's so big, you can put a large coffee. You can probably put 2 or 3 in there.
That's actually pretty impressive. But you did tell me that.
Speaking of the cup holders, we're not sponsored by this company, so we won't show them.
Yeah.
It's kind of awkward when you're driving. You have to reach back And then this is kind of in the way
The
of
center
you
console is
grabbing
kind
your
of in the
coffee.
way of grabbing. So let me just try this. That's where I'll be like,
Okay, you just made it look easy.
okay, but
for me, it's
if-
awkward.
Look at that. That's full angle.
It's like a my
And then I
germs
need to. Yeah, it's kind of weird. No, I see that. It's kind of weird.
small gripe.
Heated seats. They're like these old style buttons, and the seats themselves, while they look funky, quite comfortable.
You got some power adjustments there. This doesn't have
Yes.
any of that. It's all manual. No memory.
Yes, because this is mid-trim once again, right? You can get leather seats, memory seats, all that in the top trims.
But it's spacious.
Jumping into the second row.
You can almost sleep
Wow,
back there. It's
there's so much
huge.
space in here.
It's huge.
First of all, we have like split pouches, which is kind of interesting. No heated seats on the Sport. In the back, if you have the top trim levels, you can get that. But there is so much space. Headroom is absolutely insane. Space for my. How did they package this thing?
I mean, you could put like a backpack in front of your legs there and have room.
Oh yeah, this is like I have more space than in an airplane.
Yeah, it's spacious.
Like it is actually really good. We have a small little cubby. We have some nice material still.
What about charging back there?
Charging back there, we have two USB.
That's very odd.
What the heck is this? Okay. What? So we have two USB A's. But
So-
this is the weirdest cover I've ever seen. Couple of back here. And no recline. How do I lock it back in? There we go.
There you go.
So yeah, no, like huge amount of space though.
And then the
Huge
trunk. I mean, it's just a huge
Like-
cavernous.
I had to double check like the data we have on how big this trunk is, especially with the second row down. Like no other compact SUV that is the same size or even like bigger than this has near the amount of space. Like it is so wide, it is so tall, it is ridiculous how much space you have in the back.
And then if you fold these seats down, I mean, holy.
Like,
IKEA
yeah.
runs for days.
You have, yeah, pretty much. It's ridiculous. This is the most spacious compact SUV on the market.
It's
I'm
a compact
pretty sure.
SUV that doesn't feel compact.
It feels a lot like a midsize, but it is not a midsize somehow. So
But how does it drive?
we'll find out now.
Let's go driving.
All right, out in the Subaru Forester Sport, and we're not going to pretend like the Kia Stinger we just drove is just behind us, and we're going to be accelerating very quickly.
You need to pick up your kids from school. You're late. How fast is the Subaru going to get you there?
We're going to find out sport mode or shit mode, whatever this is supposed to say, and brake torque. Good launch.
Oh my God. Usain Bolt can keep up. and
We
just-
are,
we
in
just beat
fact,
Usain Bolt.
accelerating. Loudly so.
CVT?
We are still accelerating.
Oh my God.
Woo!
All right. That was interesting. I think for the first 4 seconds, Usain Bolt would have gave us a run for our money.
So, this is obviously isn't super fast. This is the same engine and transmission that we had in the. Ooh, yeah. By the way, the throttle pedal is quite touchy,
Yeah.
like we had in the Subaru Crosstrack. So we have a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated boxer, 4-cylinder, and a CVT. Horsepower is about 186, if I remember
I hate
correctly.
CVT so much.
You know what? I really don't mind. Like, it's just smooth. And this is just this isn't fast. This is somewhat slow.
Sport is just a badge.
Sport is just and this has no sporty inspirations whatsoever. It's just a badge. I'm going 80 right now if I just hit it. Like, it's not on the highway. You will have to, plan your gaps and where you want to go.
At
But-
low end, though, we mentioned that the pedal is a bit touchy, and I think they're trying to make it sporty.
Yeah, that
And
might be
it's-
actually why. It's just, but yeah, even if you just 3-point turn it, you're like,
They're kind of overreaching a little bit.
Chill. But yeah, it's not super fast. It is very efficient though. We got
Yeah,
it.
there's
at
another one right there.
Eight
You see them
point
all
one.
over the road.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
super popular.
They are super popular. Okay, but just for the record, a handling test a little bit. Gonna go a little easy.
That's the sportiest this thing's ever going to be driven.
I love it. I'll go a little easy. This steering is so incredibly dead. There's nothing in there.
Nothing.
I do not care though. I do
It's
not.
not supposed to be.
Exactly. I go back to I for SI drive, or I don't know. There's weirdly labeled buttons here. But drivetrain, yeah, it's slow, but it's smooth with the CVT. It's efficient.
And it's fuel efficient, yes.
It's very fuel efficient, probably one of the most fuel efficient, aside from hybrids, obviously, which might come into consideration too, but we're going to do that in the conclusion. This is just, I think this is one of those, I do not care about driving. I just want to go from A to B easily, without worry.
I have kids and I need lots of space.
Exactly, and that's, I think, where this Subaru Forester really shines. Like, we just came out of a million other like sports cars in the last few weeks and months. So this is actually kind of refreshing for me because it is just easy.
Like, I found myself driving this thing on the highway with adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, and I wasn't even going. I was going like 100.
I'm not even going the speed limit right now.
I didn't feel the need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't. I have no sense of urgency, which can be seen as a good thing, right? It's just relaxing. You're not rushed.
Exactly.
You're
No,
just
it's
driving.
It's a good thing. I like that. I like when I'm driving the car. I'm like, you know what? I feel like I'm just I'm not worrying as much about other stuff. Funnily enough, the brake pedal is kind of like long compared to the very touchy throttle panel. Not an issue. Just, just kind of a contrast. Wait, we had the horse shit I have to dodge here. Yep, lane departure. And you might have an eye problem, but you know what doesn't have an eye problem? Subaru's eyesight system. Ooh. Because we have adaptive cruise control linked to lane centering.
Which I use and it works well.
It works really well. You said it's a little, it does really want to have you put your hands on there,
yes.
Right? Does it suffice if you have your hands on, or do you have to give it a little wiggle?
So no, I put pressure over here and it seems to do the trick.
Like on the 9 and 3, okay, that's good. Then we have auto emergency braking, we have lane departure warning as you just heard, and it just works.
We have blind spot monitoring, which I have an issue with.
Okay.
Because when I'm changing lanes, you have your turn signal in your mirror.
Oh yeah, I see.
And then your blind spot monitoring is basically the exact same color, so it doesn't inspire confidence.
Oh.
And it kind of trips me up.
I hate that when I see my indicator in the...
I don't need that.
In the light. Like, I have it here and I have an audio signal for that.
So for me, that kind of confused me and it didn't inspire confidence. Small issue,
see that.
But just something to note, like a user experience.
I just want to mention that, like, this is like, I can see everything. Like, the visibility is amazing in here. It's just so easy and it's just so comfortable.
Which is good because it doesn't have any cameras. It only has the backup camera, which is terrible backup camera.
It's high refresh rate, I saw it. It's like a pretty high refresh rate, but it's like super low res. But yeah, it's it rides pretty well, I think, though. Like,
it rides very well. Suspension's good. I went over some big bumps, and the bumps do not translate into your bum, which for me is the biggest thing.
That's good. It's bum rated.
It's bum rated.
It's bum rated.
It's not a bummer.
Nice.
That was terrible.
And that was really bad. Sorry, guys, we're still sick. And lastly, noise is a little noisy, I find.
It's a little bit, but it's not bad. It's not something. I mean, I typically listen to music, so I didn't really notice it.
The audio system also isn't that great.
I didn't expect it to be.
Yeah.
So that's not even like a complaint of mine.
Okay, so I noticed noise-wise, I think up to highway speeds, or like close, just under highway speeds, it is good. But once you get on that highway is when it gets a little noisier.
I mean, it's not the most aerodynamic car, right?
No, it's not, and it doesn't have like the thickest insulation. But yeah, like we said, this is, I need space. I need no more worries. I just want to be comfortable. I need to go from A to B car. And
it's as efficient as you're going to get without getting a hybrid. I mean, I was getting 7 on the highway, 7 per 100.
That's actually...
Which is really good. And I was, overall, I did mostly city driving this week. I averaged about 8. Which for a vehicle this big...
is
like, what does this car weigh? Sorry.
3,600 pounds.
So it's not the lightest vehicle either.
No.
It's not heavy.
No, it's in line with many of the other compact SUVs, although some go a little higher.
But 8 per 100, I'm happy with that.
Oh, totally. Totally. I mean, usually when you have low horsepower, you end up with high consumption because you have to run the engine so hard. But this does a good job, and the CVT is smooth. Honestly, I'm kind of enjoying this right now in a different way than I'm enjoying the Blackwings and the Stingers and all that. But
like I told you, when I was driving it, I didn't feel like I needed to rush.
Yeah,
which is one of those things.
Which is worth a bit. But let's bring out some of the competitors and draw conclusions. So
there are a lot of competitors in this space.
Like, let's bring out the big one right away. You like it, I like it. CX-5, CX-50.
I like this vehicle, but it's not a car that I would drive, personally. Now the CX-5, I think it's sharper. It's going to have a more refined interior. It's probably going to have a more powerful, slightly more powerful drivetrain. Not night and day.
If you get the turbo, you can get a lot more.
But you're giving up cargo capacity.
You give up like
a
half
lot.
your cargo capacity.
A lot.
So that's where I think you kind of have to differentiate at this point, where it's like, okay, do you want to have an SUV? and you just kind of have it for the capabilities, and you don't always need it. So you might only have, you know, you might have one kid,
Right.
or you have a small child and a baby. You don't need to always pack everything full. Okay, then the CX-5 and CX-50, amazing vehicles, especially for the money. Of course, we always have to compare because this is mid-trim. Most of the stuff we test is top trim, so there is a bit of a differentiator. But that's great. But if you have 2 teenagers, you're not going to get along with the CX-50 or the CX-5 very well, I think.
You can do it. It's just not going to be it won't be as comfortable as this.
It won't be as comfortable, and like space-wise, you'll have some issues. I mean, there's always a way.
Right.
But
And there are other vehicles too, like the Ford Escape.
We had the new Ford Escape recently. We ended up liking it, I think, overall.
Yeah.
It wasn't like amazing.
But it also doesn't have as much cargo room
But
as
it's
this.
like, it's not as exciting, it's not as nice, so might as well go comfy and capable. So that's where I think I'd pick this. My previous winner for I don't care about driving, I just need space car in the compact SUV segment was the CR-V, which we didn't really end up liking the newest generation as much because it was not much of a step forward at all. So I think this easily takes that #1 spot for me as the ease of use compact SUV.
Yeah, you put aside like brand power and like ego, this thing makes the most sense.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's not a vehicle I see myself in, but it does what it's supposed to do, and it does it extremely well. And honestly, I really like Subaru. Like this is the second Subaru we've driven.
And the Crosstrek was nice
I really
too.
started liking them because they just so confidently know what they are. They're not trying to be anything what they are. They're not giving you big rims and pretend like, let's be super fast.
I will say, calling it sport, and like maybe that's a little bit reaching.
Okay, fair
a little
enough.
bit.
But you know, Subi is ease of use and a mild off-road capability. That's Subi. They know what they are. They don't try to be anything else, and it's just refreshing to get into a car, and it's just what it is and knows what it is.
And they offer value, which segues into price.
So aspect, this Subaru Forester Sport mid-trim comes out at $39,270, which
It's not often you hear a sub $40,000 car these days.
it is not. I mean, yeah, if you spec it out, you can get to 43, but it is really good. I like it a lot. Always to consider if you have a bit more money is stuff like the Tucson, the Sportage. You can get them for hybrids for like 45, so that would be even less fuel economy. CX-50, CX-5 will probably be a little more. But no, I think it's a good price. I think it's a good product. It's not the exciting product, but it does what it does.
There's not a lot to complain about. It's just up to you and your particular taste. If you're okay with the aesthetics of it, if you think it's a nice looking car, again, that's all subjective.
Right. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
There's definitely nothing wrong with this car.
Wonderful. So good job, Subi. Another wonderful car.
Solid vehicle.
Yeah. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it.
If you did, thumbs up, hit the bell, subscribe, all that stuff that you already know, because we're going to drop a new video every single week, and stay tuned. It might be something you're looking forward to.
We'll see you then.
See ya.